Hello, everyone. Welcome to a coffee and 3D printing episode of the Butterwhat Show. This is my lovely co-host, assistant to the regional co-host, Brian C. Moses. And I'm Brian C. Moses' lovely co-host assistant, Pat Regan. Tubby, what in the heck is this? What am I doing?
We are looking at one of James Hoffmann's recent videos. For those of you who don't know, James Hoffmann is a huge coffee geek. He's got a great big YouTube channel. Pat and I and our wives, we watch one or two of his videos almost every week. It's fast. The
He is a
whole
weird coffee person, is what
he is
he says.
yes, yes. He takes coffee nerdness to levels that I don't think I could possibly obtain.
And he
Um,
generally does a fantastic job.
yeah,
He
yeah,
explains he explains things in ways that even I can understand.
he makes
So
fantastic content.
he
Yeah.
really does. But what kind of content is he making on August 23rd? This was. We've had this on our list for a little while, but we missed it last month.
Yeah. I was excited back in August when it popped up in my subscriptions that James had bought a 3D printer and was talking about the nifty things that he found that complement his coffee nerdness. And one of the things that I'm always excited about with this kind of stuff is, when Venn diagrams overlap and the weird connections that get made there. So I was super jazzed when I saw, the description or the title of the video, saying that he'd bought a 3D printer and he was going to go over some of the things that he had printed that he used on a regular basis.
I heard he bought a Prusa Mark III because I watched the video and I saw it. But did he buy a fully assembled Prusa Mark III like I did? Because I
No.
don't. I'm too lazy to put a Prusa together.
Yeah, that I'm too lazy also, and I think I would tell everybody, that the assembled version was worth saving a weekend of the time. But James actually wound up buying the entire kit and assembling it himself, which I think is impressive. I mean, I've looked and watched assembly videos, and it's not it doesn't look difficult, but it looks, it's multiple steps, and it takes, a certain amount of, I guess, skill. And I was impressed when he said that he got the kit. He kind of said the same thing after assembling the kit, that, he'd kind of wished that he'd bought the fully assembled one.
It's nice to know how your machine works when you need to
Yeah,
fix it.
exactly. He said exactly those same things, I think, in the video, that it was really helpful to just kind of understand how things were working, and there's no better way to do that other than, assembling, repairing, and
You,
disassembling.
my first 3D printer, I bought it used off of Craigslist in a Walmart parking lot about 10 exits north 75 here.
So Oklahoma then.
Yeah, almost. Not quite. It's probably Allen or whatever's north. I don't even know. But it doesn't matter. What does matter is I got it home. I paid less than the kit cost, and it was already assembled, so I was just printing. I had a little trouble. But within the first 2 weeks, the bed fell off. Other things weren't tight. I mean, there were. I didn't have to strip the whole thing down and put it back together, but I had to do a lot to it. It was way better. The Prusa was fantastic because you open the box, I hit go, and my
Yeah,
Octoprint was already set up, and I had a part.
six zip ties or something. I can't remember.
What's Mr. Hoffman 3D printing over here? I see he's got. I've been meaning to do this, but I wanted a little different than this. He's got a 3D printed Portafilter holder for your espresso machine.
So you can just hang it on the wall, or
Yeah, hang it. I want to hang it on the side of the machine though. So I wanted to hack
magnetic.
this apart and do magnets or something.
Yeah.
He did an espresso distribution tool. Everybody says I should try a distribution tool of some sort, but I've never.
What's an espresso distribution tool?
It's a good question. When you pour the coffee from the grinder into the portafilter, it tends to collect in the front or the back. Like my portafilter doesn't go in far enough into the machine, so it all sits in the back and it wants to fall out.
Okay.
You want an even layer of coffee in your portafilter, and something like this helps you spread it out and get rid of any clumps or lumps.
Okay, so it's kind of like, it's almost like a whisk then.
This one's very much like a whisk.
Okay.
Before I had an espresso machine, I used a Bioletti Moka pot to make strong coffee for, milkshake type coffee drinks. And this is handy. Usually you have to hold that little basket in your hand and try to get the coffee into it, scoop it in or something, or you put it on the base of the machine after it already has water in it. But if you put it on the base of the machine, you have to be careful not to get any on the edges.
Otherwise.
And it's going to be damp because you just poured water into it, so it might be wet. So you know how wet coffee sticks to everything?
Yep.
And then when you close the lid, I should put a picture of a Moka Express pot here. But you'll end up crushing coffee between the rubber gasket and the thing, and it's nasty, hard to clean up. This would have been nice to have. Everybody should try a Moka pot, but it makes kind of bitter coffee, usually. But it's strong. Do you remember I was complaining that my espresso doesn't like to land in the portafilter? I have one of these too, a different 3D printed one, but I have a 3D printed one of these to help more of that. Because as that anthill starts to get bigger, it wants to tip out the back and lose coffee.
Yep. So this just kind of fits inside?
Yeah, it fits inside the portafilter, and then when you don't have to watch it the whole... Like, without this in there, I have to watch it and give it a little shake around to make it fall down so it doesn't get too tall. With one of these, you could just let it fill up and then worry about it when it's done.
Gotcha.
I don't need one of these because my grinder has a holster there that you drop the portafilter into. But the Niche Zero that everybody likes, this new expensive coffee grinder, does not have a portafilter holder. So this is pretty smart. And I think that's the last thing on Mr. Hoffman's list. And it's a pretty good list, I think.
I think it's a really great list. I think it's fantastic. I'm sure that they do. And how many? He's up over 1 million, right? Subscribers?
Yes. Yes, and this video that we're talking about, tens of people are going to watch us talk about this video. And 313,000 people have watched the video we're talking about so far. So you probably already seen this.
Yeah, but I'm excited that in his audience, there's somebody out there that had said, I don't understand what the big deal about 3D printing is at all. And the fact that he just went out and printed these things that a coffee geek would be excited about and, just made them not like that. I mean, it's not just like that, but, I hope somebody went out and bought a printer because of the video.
Can I tell you the problem I had with my coffee, my espresso, the funnel doodad?
Yeah.
I printed the one, it's 58 millimeters. It didn't quite fit. So I scaled it down, and then it did fit. Very easy. If I went to Target and bought a little funnel like that, and got home and it didn't fit, how bummed out would I be?
You would have been really bummed out.
Yeah, and then I'd have to go back to Target and get the smaller size, and then I'd be even more...
If they had one. The smaller size might have been too small.
But I goofed it up. I went in, I scaled it down by 1%, and I did it again, and 15 minutes later, I was able to try it again, and it worked.
Yep.
So many things are so much easier when you can just keep trying over and
iterating. Yep. And the cost doesn't, other than time and patience, the cost isn't huge.
Yeah, but the time to go back to Target is huge.
Yeah, the time to go back is huge. And, we talk about functional prints all the time. When you're solving a problem, it's a gateway to 3D designing something. This is not, it's not a complicated component. You would look at that and say, well, I could have designed something like this. And you're right. You really can with the tools that are out there, and you can start solving problems that you have at the house that no product exists for at all. Which I think is awesome.
And it's amazing how much stuff is just up on Thingiverse, ready for me to print that I just can't buy anywhere. Things to fix other things or repair things or use things for odd purposes. Like my mic and webcam are up here on an IKEA arm. They don't sell things to do, well, the mic you can get on an arm, but they don't sell a thing to do this. You can't buy this.
Yep.
And I'll flash a picture up here so you can see what I'm talking about. But sometimes the thing on Thingiverse just isn't quite what you needed. You can make a small change and it's perfect. It's awesome, Tubby.
It's very awesome.
Everybody should have a 3D printer at this.
I think so too. Oh,
Mr. Data,
yeah.
the Tom Scott video
that is an awesome
is
video.
fantastic.
Data. It really is.
We watched that 2 weekends ago, and that was. I was saying I'd like to see James go and do that with other.
Yeah, that should be
other people.
That should be a series of videos. Just people who